Hello, everyone. My name is Elise Blais. I'm chairman of the board of directors for an organization, a nonprofit organization that's called Altergo. And I've been with them for the past, I think, 12 years on the board of directors.
What was the reason or inspiration for starting this foundation?
So this foundation was started 30 years ago, 30 years and plus, and it was to promote and have the general population be aware of the fact that some members of our population could not access the same cultural or sport facilities as everyone because they had limitation in either movement or seeing or hearing. So we promote, let's say, social inclusion through accessibility.
So what is the mission of Altergo?
As I mentioned, it is to promote the social inclusion through promoting accessibility to cultural and sporting facilities for all members of our population.
What tools are you lacking?
Actually, the main tool that we are always struggling to get more of is financial support. So the name of the game for nonprofit organizations is effectively their source of financing. We rely a lot on governmental grants and private donation, and we're constantly looking for new or for other sources of revenue or finance support to be able to start new projects or sustain the ones that we have ongoing. We also use our main event, which is Le Défi Sportif Altergo, to promote what we do and to bring awareness on the special needs of that piece, that part of the population, which have physical handicaps that vary from, let's say, mobility to vision to hearing to whatever you could think of. Yes.
How close have you been to reaching the objective of your mission?
Well, it's not necessary. We don't measure it like per se, because it's very difficult to measure awareness in the general population. But I would say that governmental bodies and cities are more aware that they have to make special efforts to render their facilities accessible for all taxpayers, because these people do work, these people do pay taxes, and they should have access to the same types of services that everybody else does. They should be able to go to the local library, they should be able to go to the local pool or sports facility, especially when it's funded by taxpayer money.
And also, what are the challenges that your foundation currently faces?
Well, I guess, as I mentioned, we face financial challenges. With COVID, most of our activities were stopped. So, we're trying to surf this pandemic wave and see how we pick up the pieces at the end, whenever the end will be. So, we were growing. I mean, we had a lot of activities, fundraising, and that's what was stopped, and that's what's hurting us now.
So what tools do you use to cope with those challenges?
Well, actually, we were lucky enough to get more governmental funding through the special COVID programs. So that helped us pay our employees and keep some of our activities like training. It all moved online, just like everybody else. And we were able to hold some, let's say, activities of Le Défi Sportif online, but it's not the same. But just to keep it alive, we reinvented ourselves that way. But effectively, a lot of our represented, a lot of like activities we do take place physically outside or in face-to-face contact. So that was sort of like put on hold. We'll pick it up when the COVID finishes and we're all vaccinated.
Also, since COVID-19 has impacted many organizations and foundations, how has it impacted your foundation?
Well, effectively, as I mentioned just before, prior to this, to your question, we had to stop a lot of our fundraising activities. We had to stop a lot of our programs. We had to reinvent ourselves virtually. And it did create a little slowness in our activities. Our membership isn't growing as much because we're not out there banging the drum on who and what Altergo does or could do for these organizations. So yeah, I think we're feeling the same slowness as every other business per se, even a profitable business.
What are you doing to promote the organization?
Well, as I mentioned, our biggest event is the Défi Sportif, which attracts athletes, Paralympic athletes throughout the world for some disciplines that we hold. So it's very, we get press coverage. We're on RDS. We are covered by international press. It's very popular in schools because we have a school program. So it's like a big 1 week, 7-day event on like 7 places in Montreal. It's one of the biggest events of that nature. So that is one of the way we do promotion. And we have spokespersons that speak of our organization on a regular basis. Chantal Montpetit is one. She is a senator in the House of Senators on the federal side. So effectively, we have spokespeople that throughout their daily work speak of us also. So that's how we sort of like drum up attention. And we're usually doing a lot of representation on governmental responsible people and cities and para-governmental organizations. So yeah, we're quite active usually.
It's very interesting. And how could we learn more about your foundation?
Well, I would suggest that we have websites, so you can go to altergo.ca or defisportif.com, or if you feel like participating in one of the big sportive event in Montreal, you can become a volunteer for the Défi Sportif, and we'll be more than happy to welcome you. And you'll live a very empowering and a very inspiring experience.